Hello, this is Staffworks. In this video, we'll be asking ourselves a question: whether there is hope for Sudan following acceptance of the Sudanese army to return to the JEDDAH talks. It has been 3 months since the suspension of the Saudi Arabia initiated talks, and there's hope that this resumption probably will bring the much-needed peace in Sudan after 4 months of crisis. The talks are aimed at bringing together the Sudanese army and the Rapid Support Forces RSF. It has been confirmed that the army delegation is ready to begin the new round of talks that has been suspended due to the failure of the warring parties to abide by the ceasefires, which were mediated by the Saudi Arabia and United States. The war in Sudan is entering its 4th month without either of the side being able to decisively win the battle. Calls have intensified in Sudan and also in the regional and international community for the need to hold negotiations to bring to an end this war. The United Nations has warned that the conflict is escalating and it might soon transform into a civil war that may surpass Sudanese border and threaten the security of the entire region. When initiating the JEDDAH talks, Saudi Arabia and the United States, put into consideration their had committed to bring to an end this conflict. Lieutenant General Abdel Fattah al-Burhani, the leader of the Sudanese army, has emphasized the importance of JEDDAH platform, expressing gratitude to the Saudi and US government for facilitating the negotiation process. Leader of RSF, Mohamed Dagalo, who is also known as Hemedi, announced the formation of a communication committee with the political process and armed movement to reach a comprehensive political solution to the crisis in the country. There has been other efforts to bring peace in the country. There is a NIGAD-led process which has tasked 4 countries with the membership of Ethiopia, Somalia, and South Sudan, and leadership of Kenya. And these countries have been tasked to bring the warring sides into the negotiation table. Another grouping is what is known as the neighbors of Sudan, and this grouping is led by Egypt. It also contains members such as Ethiopia, Chad, Central Africa, Republic of Sudan, all which are neighboring countries to Sudan. They have started a process which also aims at bringing peace in this country. There is a 5th coordination summit of the African Union, which held its meeting on 16th July 2023 in Nairobi, Kenya, and this meeting witnessed extensive discussion on the ongoing crisis in Sudan. The disjointed manner in which the talks have been organized has been blamed for the lack of progress in this peace process. Burhan's side has refused to participate in the IGAD-led talks, citing what it calls Kenya siding with the RSF. Khartoum Foreign Ministry has objected to the Kenya President William Ruto leading the IGAD quartet, accusing Nairobi of siding with the RSF. Kenya has denied this accusation, reiterating that the country is neutral in the whole process. Sudan has also rejected an attempt to bring peacekeeping force, which was a suggestion by the IGAD peace process. Before the JEDDAH talks were suspended in May, the US mediators had grown increasingly frustrated with both sides because of their reluctance to work towards sustained truce. Experts believe that both Burhani and Dagalo have opted for a war of attrition instead of hoping to extract greater concessions at the negotiation table later. They're hoping to extract greater concession during the negotiation process. Opting for a war of attrition as a strategy in negotiations is a high-risk approach that involves using prolonged conflict and pressure to force the other party into keeping greater concessions. This tactic is characterized by a belief that the opponent face will incur heavy costs, losses, and difficulties that will eventually become more willing, make them more willing to make significant compromises at the negotiation table. While this strategy has been employed in historical conflicts and negotiations, it comes with significant drawbacks and ethical consideration. One of them is human and economic cost, where the war of attrition can lead to significant human suffering, as it is doing in Sudan. It can also bring economic damage. All this is happening in Sudan. Prolonged conflict can devastate communities, economies, infrastructure, affecting the lives of countless innocent people. There is also an unpredictable outcome when engaging in this type of strategy. Inherent is brings a lot of uncertainty. The eventual outcome may not be known, and it might not align with initial expectations. The longer the conflict persists, the harder it becomes to control the situation, and there is no guarantee that the concession gained will outweigh the overall cost incurred. Then there is damage to relationships, where the prolonged conflict will severely damage the relationship between the parties involved, making future negotiation more difficult or even impossible. It might also breed distrust and animosity, hindering any potential for cooperation of peaceful resolution in the future. There is also international community response, where there are also legal and ethical considerations that need to be considered. Escalation of risks and also undermining negotiation trust, where there might be lack of trust and credibility at the negotiation table. The other party may feel manipulated or even reluctant to negotiate in good faith, which can hinder any chance of reaching a fair and sustainable agreement. So if this is what the warring parties are doing, applying this strategy, then it will only bring problems, and problems which might not be easy to solve. In many cases, pursuing negotiations in good faith, seeking a win-win solution, and demonstrating a genuine willingness to find common ground can lead to more successful and sustainable outcomes. Cooperation or cooperative negotiation approaches, where both parties seek or work towards mutual benefits and compromise, have better chance of fostering lasting peace and resolving conflict in a way that preserves the relationships and promotes sustainability. Pursuing peaceful and constructive dialogue will be the prudent thing or path towards reaching mutually beneficial agreements and resolving the Sudanese conflict. So we hope that JEDDAH talks resumption will bring the much needed peace. The two sides which are fighting in Sudan come into the negotiation table and agree to put to an end these conflicts that has affected millions of people in Sudanese border and also outside the border. So thank you for watching this video. Give us your thoughts about the Sudanese conflict, whether this resumption of JEDDAH talks, among other attempts to bring peace in this country, will be successful. So if it's your first time here, I encourage you, or please subscribe to this channel, watch other videos that you have done, and also give us your thoughts about these topics. Thank you.